Check, check, check. Hey, hey, hey. All right. So we are live. And live audio scares the crap out of me. That's why I typically do this stuff pre-recorded. So today, let me move some stuff out the way. I have 3 screens and it's just not enough. So today we are going to be doing the review for the I Challenge You to Sound Design This Clip number 5. I thought I would do it live this time. That way, you know, we can kind of get my genuine reaction. Now, I'm not going to lie. I have watched all of these videos, so it's not like I'm trying to pretend like this is the first time I'm seeing them. I have watched them all. Some of them I have watched multiple times. And just because they're just that good. So, before we jump into things, first of all, thank you guys so much as we broke 600 subscribers. Keep it up. I appreciate every single one of you. I think we're at like 620 now. And we also broke 20,000 views, which is super exciting. I know compared to big YouTubers, that's just one video. But to me, I appreciate every single one of you. And so I'm a little tired right now. I was up late last night because I've just gotten sucked into Cobra Kai on Netflix. It's not great, but it's not terrible. I mean, I grew up with the Karate Kid movies and, you know, Ralph Macchio and all that stuff. So I've kind of gotten sucked into a lot of that. I think yesterday I started it yesterday, and I think I'm halfway through the second season. There's only 2 seasons right now. I think they got slated for a 3rd season, but I'm not entirely sure. Anyway, that's not what we're here to do. So I'm not sure how long the stream's actually going to be. I found 5 submissions on YouTube, and so if you did post it and I didn't see it, I apologize. Like I had said in my videos leading up to this one, you know, I look for hashtag the sound effects guy in the title. So that's what I looked for, and that's how I found the 5 submissions that I do have. I'm really excited to jump into these. And yeah, so I guess with that being said, we can go ahead and just jump into the first one. So I've never actually done a live review like this before, so bear with me. And I do have the chat open. So if you are here, which I know Mr. Matthew Noble had popped in to the chat, I hope you're still here, because your video is definitely coming up. So we're going to be doing that as we go through these reviews. You're more than welcome to offer your feedback as long as it's constructive. You know, we're not here to, you know, tear anybody down. I am here to give feedback and review, and, you know, if there are some places where you can improve, you know, we can discuss that, but we want to maintain a professional kind of workspace here. So, like I said, I did get 5 different entries that I found. I do apologize if there were more. So that is what we're going to be taking a look at. So with this first one, and I hope that, okay, yeah, everything is, I unmuted my audio. I started a stream one time and then forgot to unmute my audio, so it was just like, you know, and nothing. So, all right, so let's start with this first one. This first entry actually comes from the YouTube channel Miles Moss. And pause it. Not sure what happened to the resolution in the video, in the submission, but we're not here to keep aspect ratios. We're just here for the audio. So this first entry, like I said, is from Miles Moss, and we're gonna go ahead and check that out. All right, so there's a couple great things about this one. Let's back this up just a little bit here. And I really like the engine sound. The actual DeLorean, I believe, is a V6. This one sounded kind of a little along the lines of like a 4-cylinder, but I'd rather see it go that way than like, hey, I'm gonna slap a Lamborghini engine or some kind of hot rod engine in this. So I guess I would rather see it go that way than like the 4-cylinder route than the a bigger engine. Even though we do kind of on the Back to the Future DeLorean, we do have all this stuff on it. It's all electric stuff, so that's not really going to do anything for the engine sound. So I really like that you went that route. I do also really like the pass bys. Like, you differentiated at each camera angle, which is actually something that I didn't do when I recreated the sounds for my own challenge. They were a little loud. I feel like those could have been brought down a little bit, but definitely good nonetheless. The entry, fantastic. There was a little bit of, like, you could hear the fire sound. The fire sound sounded a little close to the camera perspective. Maybe a little bit more reverb to kind of help push it back into the scene a little bit. I also really liked, because one of the big things in film is, like, my rule and most generally rule is, if you see it on screen moving, then it makes noise, no matter how subtle. And so I mean, sometimes you got to look for all the little minute details, but in this case, we're anticipating this DeLorean just coming out of the future or wherever it went. And so it kind of helps build that anticipation of the car coming back. So that was really good. I think the timing was off just a couple frames there, which isn't a huge deal. I like the tire squeal. The blast when it comes in sounds a little vintage. Hey, what's going on? Switowski, I'm sorry if I butchered that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate that. So the blast sounds really vintage, which is okay. I think had the entire thing been done in kind of a vintage sound, like maybe we popped in that Back to the Future VHS and kind of rode that theme throughout the whole thing, it would have been really great. In this, it doesn't necessarily work the best, but it does work. And then once the car comes to a stop and we go back to that engine idle, probably could have blended that just a little bit better. It sounds very abrupt going from the tire squealing to then all of a sudden we hear the engine idle. Audio Dread, my dude, what's up? We're getting to your submission here in a little bit as well, and I'm really excited for that. Hello, I was thinking that the portal effect sounds like something I'd hear in many 2000s video games, though nailing a portal sound does seem quite hard to do. Absolutely. There are a ton of layers that can go into that portal sound. And so really getting the right mix to make it sound something that we've never seen in real life. We kind of have to fabricate that. And I know, as soon as you say Portal, my brain instantly goes to the Portal video game, which that is a whole, we could talk about that game for hours upon hours. But getting Portal sounds, and really any sci-fi, can be kind of difficult to do, because a lot of it is really left up to the imagination. It's completely subjective, and sometimes it's just difficult. All right, so like I said, I would have liked to have heard from the tire squeal into the car idle be blended a little bit better, maybe add a little bit of reverb to the car idle, because now it's sitting back in these buildings. It's not right up close to the camera. I kind of feel like I'm sitting right next to the car when I hear that idle. So just some notes, like I said, I don't want to tear anybody down. I'm just here to offer constructive criticism, and my opinion is completely subjective as well. While this is what I do as a profession, my word is not the ultimate. So nonetheless, though, really great job. So let's see what else we got here. Let's check out the one from VidWorks. So the first thing that I notice here is I like the level of ambience. Like, we haven't seen the car yet. We got the camera panning down, and you know what? I'm going to play it through first, and then we'll talk about it. Okay, so let's jump back to the beginning here. Like I said, I do really enjoy the ambience. It had a nice city sound to it that didn't sound overpopulated, which was actually the problem that I ran into with my entry. Hey, Miles is here. What's up, man? No, thank you for submitting. I appreciate it, and you did a great job. So hopefully, like I said, my opinion is just subjective. So I look forward to hearing more of what you create. And for any of these videos, once the live stream is over, I'm actually going to be linking all the videos in the description down below. That way you guys can go and just show your love to the sound designers who created this stuff. So all right, so in VidWorks we have, like I said, I really like the ambience. The car was a little loud. Maybe bring that down 3 to 5 decibels. I know that we are directly behind it. It's just as the car drives away from the camera, it sounds like we're following it instead of the car actually moving away from us. The reverb on the car, though, was actually really great. It sounded like it was driving down this city street that I had pulled in. And these assets, I did not create these assets. This was just a free asset pack that I pulled off the Unreal Marketplace. The magic effect, it could have been a little bigger. I didn't quite feel it. And I love that there's just a subtle dog barking in the background. All right, so just kind of, yeah, absolutely. Definitely, just it's just feedback. Take it however you want. I mean, no offense by any of the things that I say. For this, I would have liked to have heard some of that anticipation of the car coming back. Kind of sounds like you just took the engine sound, clipped it, and moved it, which could work. Maybe add some volume automation. Like maybe you're kind of anticipating that car coming back. We can hear the engine, and before we actually see the car. This part, though, that was phenomenal. So, like the DeLorean in the Back to the Future movie, we do have a lot of that sci-fi kind of spaceship sound. So once the car comes to a halt, we can kind of hear those electronics just winding down, cooling down, whatever the case may be. So really great job on that part. I would have liked to have heard just a little bit more tire squeal. So there was a little bit on takeoff. Maybe just kind of bring those up just a little bit. And I think if we would have had the volume of the car driving away, then like the automation of the volume kind of coming back down, then maybe that would have stood out just a little bit more. Quality wise, I think the assets were of good quality with the scene that we have going on. Just maybe a little bit of mixing. So all right, let's move on to another one here. And James, since you're here, let's take a look at James's. And before we look at James's, for those of you who don't know James, this dude is he's all over the place with cartoon sound effects, and he just does a phenomenal job with the more cartoony aspects, and he brought that into this video, and I was really excited about that. Those portal sounds, my dude. That's great. So I mean, if I was going for a realistic feel, obviously this wouldn't be it. But I love it so much. Because I know that is James's thing. I appreciate it more than just kind of going realistic with it. So that was a lot of fun. We've got the birds chirping in the background, and then this car. I don't know where you pulled this car from. It sounds like a toy, which is so great. If I didn't know you, I mean, not that we've ever met in person, but I've seen you around both my Discord and the Blip Sounds Discord, and you're always coming up with cartoony stuff. So if I didn't know that about you, I would honestly look at this submission and be like, what? But the fact that like that I know that this is your area, I do appreciate that. No, VidWorks, I appreciate you stopping by nonetheless. Yeah, you're also more than welcome to send me a message if you'd like to talk about it. Like I'm totally down to offer one-on-one type stuff too. So you can get a hold of me on Discord. That's probably the best way. You can join the Sound Effects Guy Discord server. That link right now in the description before I add everybody's submissions is the first link in the Discord. But James, I really want to know where you got this car from. So the camera changing is I think could have been blended a little bit more. You know, I'm trying to think of this from the perspective of if I was watching this as a cartoon. And those harsh cuts do happen in cartoons for sure. I would have blended them just a little bit more. The Hanna-Barbera library. That makes absolute sense. The chime on this, I'm guessing that you got it from the same place because I've definitely heard that chime before. Okay, I figured. So let's see here. My biggest note right here is the tire squeal. I feel like the tire squeal did come in a little late. But overall, just because of the cartoon sound effects, it's just phenomenal. So we're gonna move on to submission number 4, which is, if he's still here in the comments, our friend Audio Dread. Now, to kind of give you guys a little backstory on Audio Dread, again, only a sound designer that I know through YouTube, and not somebody I've ever met in person. Hey, he's still here. All right, so he does a ton of horror sound effects on his channel. He takes normal things, like I've seen him do like the lightsabers, and I know he's taken some animal sounds. You have so many videos, I don't remember the specifics of every single one. But he turns regular sounds into horror sounds, and they're just phenomenal. Make sure you go check out his channel. And so I was really excited to see this one. So if I'm not mistaken, in the video description when he submitted this, yeah, Audio Dread, definitely a good name. So if I'm not mistaken, you used only your phone for this, correct? I'm pretty sure that was what happened. You only used your phone to record these sound effects, which is tough. You know, I mean, with phones kind of making their way up in the technology world, the microphones are getting better, but I don't think we're, even though there are Zoom attachments for phones, I don't think we're ever going to get a built-in kind of quality microphone. I like that the rev limiter stayed up there, because for anybody who, like, I don't race cars myself, but I do thoroughly enjoy motorsports. You know, that rev limiter, it's gonna stay up there for a minute as those tires are spinning. So I like that you did that. Sorry, I'm trying to pay attention to the video and the chat here. Yes, a single piece of wind can absolutely destroy, because there's no real windscreen. So you can definitely hear the change in camera angles, which I really enjoy. The portal was subtle. I would have liked to have heard just a little bit more on that. But other than that, like it was a great take on that portal sound. And I like that you did include the pop at the end. That reverse was killer. You hear that reverse, that build up. Kind of like I was talking about in the other videos. It really helps bring the anticipation of, I know something's going to happen. And I mean, in this, it's pretty easy to speculate what's about to happen. I did only use my phone for engine sounds and the tire squeals, which I got from Free Sounds. I also edited everything with Audacity. That's another tricky thing to do. Audacity is great for, like, I'll use Audacity if I just needed to make like a quick loop or just a quick cut of something instead of having to, you know, cycle through all my plugins for Pro Tools and load everything, create a session just to make a trim or something. I'll use Audacity for that. But to use Audacity for the entire sound design, that can get a little tricky because I won't say that there is like one DAW that's better than the other. I don't ever want to get into that argument. It's about finding the right tool and the right workflow for what you want to do. And you know, if you've been using Audacity for a while and Audacity works for you, there are some super powerful tools inside Audacity. Personally, my favorite is the Paul Stretch, which I haven't been able to find any other DAW or plugin that can replicate the Paul Stretch in that's in Audacity. So, all right, so we've got that reverse. I would have liked to have heard it pop just a little bit more, since right here we are a little bit closer to that pop than when we were here. Yeah, right here. We're a little bit closer. Would have liked to have heard that pop just a little bit louder. The tire squeal was great. Would have liked to have heard just a little bit of the car idle back there, but you know, I mean, you just came back from the future. Who knows what's going on mechanically with your car? I like the little sizzle sound effect too. Because technically where this camera angle is, the portal just happened right behind us. So, you know, maybe there's just some sparkles or whatever that, you know, might still be remnant of that portal. So I like that you could still hear part of that, even though now it's technically behind us. Or it could be you fidgeting with that phone. I'm not really sure. Yeah, it's hard to sound design in Audacity, like you said. Yeah, it definitely is. I do want to do some videos on it because, well, I've tried to play around with Reaper and I just can't get the hang of it. So I think maybe instead of going to a different kind of heavy duty DAW, maybe I'll go the other way and try to do some sound design. Crackling was intentional. Okay, cool. After listening to it multiple times, I couldn't tell. But that's also a problem that I have is once I listen to a sound over and over and over again, then I begin to question it and overanalyze it. I actually do the same thing when I'm creating all the thumbnails for my videos. As I create like words and stuff and I throw them in different fonts, even the word "the" starts to look like it's spelled wrong to me. It's a problem. Reaper is pretty good. I use that as well as Audition. I want to get into Reaper. I really do. I'm very set in my ways with Pro Tools. I used to use Cubase for everything. Back when I was doing music. And once I started transitioning into sound effects and stuff, I started in Audition, or wow, why is my brain being stupid? Audacity. Started in Audacity and then moved into Pro Tools. So that being said, I do have, I did the exact same thing. Had to get it peer reviewed like 4 times and convince me it sounded okay. I have the same problem. My wife will come in, and my wife is not into audio. I mean, she knows that this is the stuff that I do. But for a lot of that, I like getting her perspective because it's an outside perspective. She doesn't come listen to it with technical ears. She comes to it with consumer ears, for lack of a better term. And honestly, I found that's the great place, because my wife will also tell me when something sounds like garbage. And that's really what you want, though. That's, your friends and family are always going to tell you, oh yeah, that sounds great. No, I need somebody to, and she's not afraid to do that. You can do both. I do both. Yeah, absolutely. My gamer friends are my best reviewers. Yeah, because I mean, you want that consumer ear. That's, I can't listen to the radio anymore. After all the training that I've had with, how to mix audio and things, listening to music on the radio kills me, because I'm like, to mix that different. And then instead of enjoying the music, then I'm analyzing it, and it takes all the fun out of it. Many that use Pro Tools for sound design also use Reaper, and some even made the switch to Reaper. It's quite a good piece of software. It absolutely is. I've watched a lot of videos on it. I've had the program open on my computer for maybe a total of 10 hours. It's a great piece of software. I just need to take the time to get familiar with it. So we do have one more submission, and this was actually the first submission that I saw come in, and it's from Matthew Noble, which, if you guys saw the very first I challenge you to sound design this clip, number 1, that I did, Matthew also participated in that and did a phenomenal job. So let's go ahead and watch this one through, and then we'll talk about it. All right. Because you were the first one to submit this, and I didn't have any others to watch, I probably watched your submission probably 50 times. So let's take a listen here. We've got a nice subtle background ambience, which I enjoy. It doesn't, just like the others, it doesn't sound overpopulated. Even the ambience that I used was pretty saturated with background traffic, and that wasn't the right way to go with it. So great job on that. Your ambience was definitely better than mine. The car rev, I would have liked to have seen come up just a little bit, since we're right behind it. Same with the tire squeal. The horn cracks me up every time I hear it. Just to hear somebody like laying on the horn as I'm going to the future. That pop was fantastic. and then it goes to just the ambience. Like, yeah, it's gone. I would have liked to have heard the kind of the anticipation noise start a little bit sooner. With the disappearance through the portal, going from, we hear the car and that loud pop into silence creates an amazing dynamic. So then now that we're in that silence, to hear the car coming back to help build that anticipation back up. Like I said, if it would have started a little bit sooner, I think that would have been just a little bit better. But overall, that was great. And then we're back to ambience. So the sounds were quality. Like I said, I would have liked to have heard the initial car noise and the tire squeal come up a little bit in volume. But really, I think what the best part of your submission was the dynamic range between, hey, there's stuff happening in front of you, to there's nothing. But it blended really well together, and it didn't feel like hard cuts. So overall, just a fantastic job from everybody who submitted. And now that was the final submission, I don't really know where to go from here. I guess I could. So this was mine, and just to kind of give you guys an insight into my workflow. One of the things that I do like about Pro Tools is all the markers. And I will go through frame by frame, and I'll start with all my markers. Sometimes I'll even I'll create like ghost clips and just call this rename the clip to, maybe this was the car peel out. That way I know that from point A to point B is the peel out, and then I can just replace it. And I can line that up, with my markers. That way, because one of the biggest things for me is timing. Any sound that's out of sync, not only time-wise, but spatially as well, it's an immersion killer for me. To kind of give you an example, I guess this really isn't time-wise, but spatially is, I was in the theater one time with a friend of mine, and we were watching the Blade Runner 2047, 9, I don't even remember. The reason I don't remember is I couldn't get into the movie. The sound, there were sections of sound that were terrible. And maybe it was the theater. I did only watch it once. Maybe the theater messed something up. But there was a scene where the camera was over top of some water, and it was staring at like this concrete beach, for lack of a better term. And we see the waves directly in front of us, and they're crashing up onto this concrete area. And out of the surround sound, instead of hearing it, from left, front, and right, it came out of the back left speaker. And maybe that was the theater. Maybe I need to give it another chance. Maybe I just need to listen to it in stereo. Little things like that, even though the timing was right, the spatialization ruined it for me. The opposite end of the spectrum, though, was the second Blade Runner movie. Not Blade Runner, Maze Runner. And there's a scene where everybody kind of drops down into a sewer. And my wife and I were sitting in the theater watching that one, and you could hear rats scurrying behind you. And it was so well done that even my wife, who who doesn't get into sound design, she looked at me and she was like, that was good. That was real good. So you've inspired me to do a sound design challenge. Awesome. Any inspiration, and if there's any inspiration that you guys can give me, I love it. So I know that I had already shared, just did a quick video of my kind of iteration. Like I said, my ambience just had way too much going on in it. There's so much traffic in the background that I should have picked a much better ambience for that. And in the original video that I had submitted a couple weeks ago, my ambience was also a lot louder. And it was way too loud. And so to kind of show that back off, and everything is comped, which is why all my, it doesn't look like there's any mixing going on, that everything's still at 0. Guess I could probably pull this back over too. So maybe it'd help if I didn't solo that. The sound that I pulled in is actually from a 1982 DeLorean. So I wanted to go, as realistic as possible with that. The tire squeals were library sounds. And then, since the engine of the DeLorean kind of tapered off there, I do have this sci-fi effect. And I hard clipped it right there at the end once it disappeared. My portal sound, while it is, multiple layers, I probably could have brought the volume of that down a little bit. I think we've got, let's see. Just trying to solo out just the portal sound. And like I was talking about earlier, when it comes to portal sounds like that, it's so many layers that can go into that. I didn't really care too much for this part. I probably could have brought that down a little bit. So, just critiquing my own work a little bit. Okay, Audio Dread, I thank you so much for hanging out. I'm actually going to be getting a hold of you. There is I know that most of this conversation should be had over private message while I'm doing things, but just a heads up, you've got a message for me coming your way, because I've got an idea that I would like to do with you. So anyway, that is the review for the submissions. I appreciate everybody who brought in a submission. I challenge you to sound design this clip number 6. I'm gonna have something for that here in probably the next couple of weeks, maybe next week, maybe the week after. I've also got a really cool announcement. I have finished my first ever sound pack, and so to try and help me kind of fund the channel, because I haven't reached that monetization point, I am going to start putting together actual sound packs and selling those. I'm looking at a couple different websites. I know I did apply to be a vendor on Sonus Sound. I haven't heard back from that yet, but with all of this coronavirus stuff going on, who knows who's in the office and who's not. I've also looked at like the Unreal and Unity marketplaces. So I will be kind of announcing that sound pack, once I'm able to actually get it out there. The I Challenge You to Sound Design This #6 coming out soon. I do also have a really cool video planned for whenever we hit the 1,000 subscriber milestone. Just to kind of give you guys a little insight about that one. Since before I started my channel, I've been saving every glass container that I possibly can. My goal right now, and this may be a far-fetched goal, to kind of celebrate 1,000 subscribers whenever I hit it, is to do a video where I break 1,000 pieces of glass and record that. 1,000 pieces of glass may be a little far-fetched, because right now I think I have about 50 or 60 pieces. Everything from light bulbs to beer bottles to I think I have I took a couple of the glass light ornaments that you put out in your front yard. My neighbor was throwing them away, and I asked him if I could have them, and she kind of looked at me funny, like, yeah, sure, they don't work, but anyway, so there's going to be a lot of glass breaking. My biggest thing is I actually need to find a place to do it, because I live in an apartment and there's just not enough room. So I do need to kind of find a place for that. That's what's coming up at 1,000 subscribers. So yeah, that is a lot of glass. So I think 1,000 pieces might be a little far-fetched, but I definitely want to get as many pieces as I can for that. And so if you guys haven't already subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and we'll get to that a lot sooner than later. There's also a link in the description below to join the Sound Effects Guy Discord server. The Series 5000 library is good for vehicles. Yes. The Series 5000 library is so through work, my day job. I actually have access to a lot of those libraries, and that's where I pull. I think the Series 5000. There's also like some Hollywood effects and things like that in there. But anyway, the link to the Discord is down below. I want to do more with the Discord. The Discord in general is probably the best place to get a hold of me, or you can get a hold of me at the Sound Effects Guy at Gmail. I want to do more with the Discord. I've kind of been thinking about maybe having once a week or maybe once a month a like movie night where we'll play a movie in Discord, not on YouTube, because there's a whole copyright thing with that, where we can all kind of chat about the sound of the movie and things like that. I think the first one that I want to do, and I don't have a timeline for this, it's all still in the planning stages, and I'm just giving you a transparent view into my world. I do want to do the Maze Runner movie. I want to take a look at Bird Box. It is a movie that I've watched, but it's a movie that kind of revolves around sound, and there were some absolutely terrible sounds in there that I want to make fun of. So if you're not a part of the Discord, feel free to join. Make yourself at home. It is a super small community right now, so feel free to come in. We've got a couple different channels where you can show off your work and talk about gear and ask questions. I'm always here to help. I do what I can. So if you ever need anything from me, I'm always reachable. And so with that being said, guys, I think I'm gonna go ahead and call it. And I really, really appreciate everybody tuning in. That's going to be loud, definitely good to record glass breaking in 32. Yes. Yeah, I was thinking about the quality. I did a hurricane a while back. Actually, it popped up on my Facebook that a year ago when Hurricane Dorian came through Florida, I did 8 solid hours of hurricane sounds, and I recorded that at I think it was 9632. That whole 8-hour file ended up being like almost 20 gigs. It was ridiculous. So anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out. Thank you so much for the submissions. Keep an eye out for the I Challenge You to Sound Design This Clip number 6. That will be out in the next week or so. And I look forward to hearing what you guys create. So with that being said, until next time.